Hey friends, welcome to the Perry Center podcast where life meets life. My name is Nate. I'm the executive director for the Perry Center. And today I have a special guest, Kerstyn, former resident of the Perry Center, just crushing life. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
When we were envisioning this this whole podcast, I was like, Kerstyn, top of the list, want to sit down, want to talk about your life, because I feel like your life is very interesting.
Yeah.
You've had a lot happen to you, and you have overcome a ton. And so super pumped that you're a part of this.
Yeah, thanks.
So how's life now? Things are good?
Busy.
Yeah.
I mean, not as busy as it was when I was here, honestly. It's actually slowed down quite a bit, but it's more relaxing than it is busy.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
So Kerstyn has a toddler.
Yeah.
He's two.
Two and a half.
He's 2.5. Special kid. And what is life like running around with a 2.5-year-old?
Oh, I think most 2.5-year-olds are pretty simple, but Emmon's not,
No,
He's not. He's not. He's his own person, and he's got his own personality. And so every day it's like, you never know what's going to happen with this kid,
Mm-hmm.
He's one day he'll like something, next day he's not interested at all. And so,
Yep. I think he's got a personality for sure.
Oh my goodness.
I've seen a lot of it. I saw him in church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I can't remember at what point it was after the music.
Yeah.
And he needed to go somewhere. And then he wanted like Rob to come too. And he's like, come.
Rob,
And he kept
come on, Rob. Come here, Rob.
And he was so loud about it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody needs to come with me. We have to go.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
hilarious.
so cute. So
Yeah.
I should never sit behind you, and my kids shouldn't sit behind you, because then they're just like waving
I
at
know.
him. And I'm like, distractions.
I honestly walked up to my aisle at church, and I was like, had Emmon in my arms, and I looked, and I was like, oh, hey guys. And you guys were sitting right behind us.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, this is going to be eventful, like it always is.
Classic. So
Yeah.
with my daughter, Emmon and Rowan's 4,
Yeah.
Gonna be 5. They're like 2 peas in a pod, and
Yeah.
they've done life together for a long time.
Yeah.
But man, they are after church just glued to each
Oh,
other.
my goodness.
She's trying to carry him around, and he's
Yep.
like the same weight as her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. Yeah, because Emmon's a stocky kid. He's not light.
He's stretched out though, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Oh,
So,
yeah. He doesn't have, the big cheeks and his stuff anymore. And I was like, I was just squeezing him yesterday, and I was like, oh my goodness, your cheeks, they're not even chunky
he's
anymore.
turning into like a little man,
Yeah.
especially after he got his haircut and everything. He's
Oh my goodness.
he's so awesome.
I literally was like, time is so precious after I got that haircut.
That's
Because
so
I was
true.
like, holy cow, you look like a grown up.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. So, yes, you've been with the Perry Center you've been connected to our ministry how long now?
Just as old as Emmon is, 2.5 years, a little bit, 2.5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2.5 years. And I've seen you come in at one of the most difficult situations in your life.
Yeah.
And I've seen you grow into the woman that you are now, and super proud of you. So proud of you. I called you
Yeah.
the other day. I was just thinking about the things happening at the Perry Center. I was like, I just got to call Kerstyn and be like, I'm so proud of you, because
Yeah.
you are somebody that has taken everything in our program and just run with it.
Yeah.
And I think that is so special. And what I love about you is you're still invested.
Yep.
It wasn't you
yeah.
graduated the program and you're like, peace out, Girl Scout. I
No.
got to go.
No.
But you are, how can I invest my time? You've taught
Yep.
some classes,
Yep.
and you've partnered with us in different ways. You have done some videos and speaking at events, and
Yep. Service work. I've tried to get in on some service work, and
yeah.
whatever you guys got going on, I'm in.
So I just, that's so special, and I absolutely love that. So life has been difficult at one point, and
more than one
and
point.
it's still a struggle always.
Yeah.
Can you share maybe a little bit about your story, life before the Perry Center, and we can kind of dive in and go down some rabbit holes too. But
Sure.
what was kind of life like before Perry Center? You can go as young as you would like.
Okay. Yeah. Oh boy.
The year was 1989.
Yeah. No, man, I'm not that good at remembering stuff. No way. Well, yeah, I'll start pretty young then because that's where it really all started. So I was born and raised in Alaska, and I grew up with a really rowdy family, and there was just tons of partying, drug abuse, violence, and it was a full house. Like, we lived with my mom's mom and like my uncles and my 3 siblings and I and my parents, and there was like 10 of us total in this household,
Oh,
you know, and they were just wild. And I think they kind of had a motto in life, really, like flying by the seat of their pants, and like worldly things was kind of what they were after, you know? Yeah. And, yeah, and so I witnessed a lot of things at a really young age. I remember being like a toddler, and after parties and stuff, they would just have like beer cans strewn about, and I would be picking them up and taking drinks, and I was so small. I was like, I was toddler age. I was probably my son's age, you know? And
at what point did you, I mean, when you're growing up around that lifestyle, the chaos, you know, it's easy to maybe chalk it up as this is normal.
Oh my goodness.
But at what point maybe in your life, and it could be much later or whatever, did you realize that wasn't good, that wasn't healthy, or my life is very different than everybody else's? Was there kind of that aha moment?
It was recently.
Really?
It was very recently, yeah.
It's so interesting.
And I'd have to say it was after I got saved, really. And I was like, oh my goodness, what I was doing was not normal. This is like chaotic. This is not what people do, you know?
Yeah.
This is not healthy.
Yep.
Nothing about this is healthy.
But I mean, if that's all you knew, you have no idea.
Yeah. Like, I literally say this all the time because I literally don't believe that I had any other choice for the way that my life was going to go. And clearly that's not how God designed it. But I just didn't believe like I had any other choice. This was normal. This was what people did, you know? And I really believed that, you know, so. And
that kind of was, I mean, the foundation of your life.
Absolutely.
You know, those are years of where you're learning and growing to be the person that you might become. And so my guess is that was kind of the start of it all.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so when did you start kind of breaking out on your own and some of the decisions that you were making?
Breaking out on my own I was pretty young. I was probably around, oh my goodness. Honestly, let me backtrack a little bit, because I feel like breaking out on my own was something that just kind of came naturally because my parents weren't like very nurturing. And so it was always kind of, I was figuring it out on my own, you know? And my parents struggled with their own addiction. Yep. And so, which, you know, caused them to isolate themselves. And so they spent a lot of time in their bedroom, like behind closed doors, and they were there all the time. And so I feel like breaking out on my own was kind of just like the way it was, you know, too. That was also
fending for yourself,
fending for myself. Yeah.
Taking care of yourself.
Yep.
Was the state ever involved? Were you guys ever on the radar, or was it something that you guys were just always flying through the system?
Luckily, my parents didn't get incarcerated, you know, throughout my childhood.
Wow.
And that's really surprising. Yeah. Actually, the first time either one of my parents got incarcerated was I was an adult. But oh my goodness, what was I just gonna say about that?
The state, the system.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, like we had police coming to our house to do wellness checks because we would miss so much school. And my parents just weren't enforcing like education and, and the importance of it. And so, at one point, I vividly remember this, a policeman knocking on our door and just being like, hey, we're just doing a wellness check on your children and they haven't been to school. And so like, what's going on? And I don't remember the full extent of the conversation my mother had, but, she covered her butt.
Yep.
So
yeah. And was able to skate by and
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. So you eventually, it was kind of baptized by fire when it comes to life, right? You're just like out there by yourself, trying to figure it out, making decisions, probably making some mistakes too. So when did you start kind of diving into some of the addiction issues? At what age were you kind of experimenting with drugs or alcohol?
Yep.
Obviously you said you were picking up like cans or bottles as a kid, but when did you?
Oh, that's not when. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had well, I'm like, where do I start this?
No, it's totally, it's a lot. It really is. And share whatever you're comfortable with. It's totally fine.
Okay. So the first time I really started experimenting with drugs and alcohol, it was actually kind of provoked by my father. And so he gave me alcohol and marijuana on this exact same night. And I tried them both, on the same night. And it didn't go well at all. I hallucinated. I was screaming and yelling and crying. And I was experiencing all kinds of scary things that night. And then I just think maybe that's when the demon of addiction entered my body, because right after that, I started going full force and smoking marijuana. And honestly, it was, my parents were okay with it. My dad was buying us marijuana pipes for Christmas, and we would unwrap those at Christmas time, and they would have like marijuana packed in them. And so that was kind of like what we did. And, so.
And like
young. I was 11.
How you 11 years old?
I was 11 years old.
And how you just casually talk about this, like, I got this for Christmas, and you go to school and like, what'd you get? Yeah. And like, you're like, my life is very different.
Very different.
But just pause on that for a second. And the weight of that, being an 11-year-old and experiencing that, it's heavy.
Oof.
And it's, that's so tough to even think about.
Honestly, I'm working on this with my counselor with like sitting with stuff like you just mentioned. It's just not been something I'm good at. And so just getting through it is probably my nature.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's get over it.
Sweep it. Let's move on. Yeah. But just like, the weight of that is a lot. And being an 11-year-old and just not even understanding or knowing really the effects, or understanding what your mind is doing, or how scary would that be? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a scary night for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hallucinating. I thought like my eyes were just like so heavy. They felt like rocks in my head, like it was a miserable experience.
Right. And what you said though really stood out just in this moment where you're like, the demon of addiction was entering me.
Yeah.
And I've never heard anybody say something like that before. So that's just really interesting.
Yeah.
And really heavy.
And I honestly noticed that very, very recently, that time was when that experience was when I was latched onto by that demon,
Yeah.
And I was just a kid.
So this started kind of paving the way of life, where you said you started going full bore into drugs and alcohol, and starting at the age of 11, and you have a lot of life that you're doing. So tell me a little bit about that progression and kind of where that has led you.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I started smoking weed really heavily, after that night. And that probably progressed a little bit too, but it was a very small window. But, and then I started going to parties and drinking, and then I started experimenting with hallucinogenics and, and pills. And when I started my period, actually, my father gave me a opioid drug. I don't know. That's not the proper way I should say that. But anyway, called methadone. And back then it was like a giant pill. And anyway, he gave me the whole thing, and I would like take it to my room and like snort it up my nose. And I'm like, it's clear where I was learning these things, you know? But just that kind of behavior, it progressed, and it progressed fast.
Yeah.
And then it took full swing when I was probably when I was about 16 years old. I started experimenting with methamphetamine. And then in that same period of time, I was just experimenting with older men and just all kinds of just unimaginable things, really.
Yeah. And a lot of this goes back to the lack of a support system.
Yeah.
Like healthy parents, and so just even for our listeners and viewers to understand that, like, this progression, like, it's always been a part of your life.
Yeah.
And you have always thought this is just normal. Yeah. Everybody's doing this. Right. All 11-year-olds are doing drugs at some sort, or experimenting sex, or any of that stuff. Like, you were conditioned that it was normal.
Yep, certainly. Yeah. Yeah, and then the progression, I just kept progressing. And then I had found heroin, and then, oh boy, did that make a difference for me entirely. It was like my walls came down, and I found something that that made me a better person. It made people want to hang out with me, and I was the person people wanted to be around, and I could have sex and not feel shame from it, and just and so I literally thought I'd found a piece of me that was missing. And then it wasn't long before I was experimenting with IV needles, and I started using needles, and that was just extensive for years and years on end. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of progressing, obviously, I don't know how much time has gone by, but I'm assuming that law enforcement is starting to be involved in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
There are things happening at this time when you're kind of going full bore. Are you still in Alaska, or have you kind of moved out?
I was in Alaska.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell me about that. Were you criminal history in there? What was that kind of looking like for you?
Yeah. So I was, getting arrested for thefts. I would have drug paraphernalia on me and get pulled over and then get searched because of course, suspicious behavior. Yep. And, so I would get searched, and then I would end up in prison for 30, 60, 90 days. And then I'd be on probation, and then I couldn't make probation work for me. Yep. And I just kept relapsing and then having dirty UAs, and they would just keep sending me back. Yep. And so, it was just a cycle.
Now, roughly like age range, where was this kind of
starting? 18, 19. Yep.
So even during this time, so criminal history, you said you were experimenting with like sex and older men and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Were you facing unexpected pregnancies during that time?
Yeah. So actually my first pregnancy, I was 16 years old. And this was in my hallucinogenic stage and like kind of dabbling in other stuff, but mostly just the hallucinogenics. Well, I got pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage, and then that was painful.
Yeah.
I just remember it being so painful, and then I got pregnant again when I was 19, and I gave birth to my first son when I was 20. And just due to my addiction, I could not stop using. Like, you think, oh, this baby's going to change my life. And it didn't happen that way. Honestly, and I don't want to say that it made it worse, because that's not the case at all. But it felt worse for me because I had to have this kid and I couldn't have this kid. You know what I mean? And so,
which then can also lead to filling the void of missing
numbing
your child, numbing. Yeah,
numbing,
exactly.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah. So walking through that, having your first child at age 20, were you still in Alaska at this point?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point did you start leaving the area? So I know you outside of Alaska.
Yeah,
so
right.
obviously when you were coming to Fargo here, but and that story in itself is kind of crazy too, on how you got here. And
it's a miracle.
it is a miracle, and we'll get to that point. But you have been progressing, facing unexpected pregnancy.
Yeah.
You start getting to the lower 48, and things start even progressing even more. Share if you would like to share.
Sure.
What you're comfortable with, but tell me a little bit. We're getting a little bit closer to the Perry Center at this point, but tell me kind of what that life was like.
Yeah, after my first kid, I had my second kid.
Yeah.
Right after I got pregnant 3 months later. And then I lost him too. I had stints of like sobriety on and off, and I just could not do it. I had proven this to myself multiple times over. I can't do it, And so after I had got arrested for being caught with drugs, I served a year in prison, and then I got out of prison, and immediately I relapsed because I went right back to the same people, right back to the same crowd.
No support system.
Didn't have nobody. And so right back to the same loser boyfriend that I had, that was still in addiction using. Well, I relapsed immediately, and someone looked at me and was like, "You need to get out of here." And I took that very seriously. And so we got a plane ticket, and I literally left the next day. And my mom was living in Montana at the time, and so I ended up moving there. And then, and it didn't matter. It wasn't Alaska. Alaska wasn't the problem, Right. I was the problem.
Yeah.
And Satan was the problem. I was in my sin so bad and so heavy. So,
that's so good that you recognize that too. I think, Alaska's not the problem.
Alaska was not the problem.
Montana's not the problem.
Montana's not the problem.
I am the problem.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up getting pregnant again, with my third child. And then, I had another stint of sobriety, that didn't last very long. I was in a relationship. We were pretty serious, talking about marriage. We were having a baby together. And then I just fell right back into my old habits, I was just replacing the drugs that I had got off of for alcohol and just other bad habits,
Yeah.
And so, where should I go from there?
No,
just keep going.
No, I mean, we could keep on going.
I'm inching to
sure.
the Perry Center.
Inching to the Perry Center.
Yeah.
So obviously, Emon is a part of your story.
Yeah.
And I believe you were kind of down in the Las Vegas area. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
So I know bits and pieces of your story.
Okay.
And eventually you were coming up this way. Mm-hmm. And so are you open to sharing a little bit about that? So,
yeah, let's do it.
Well, I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable with. So I want you to feel comfortable sharing whatever.
I'm like, where should I start this story? So yeah, as life progressed and I just kept getting pregnant, losing children, having miscarriages, I, had a couple more kids, lost my kids. And then, I, was doing just crazy things to support my habits.
Yeah.
And, I was getting close to my drug dealers. And it wasn't long before I turned into one, And so, I was traveling here and there to pick drugs up. At one point, I think we were in Grand Junction. I went into Subway and I had my big bag that had the stuff. And I brought it into Subway, and then I noticed that there was like officers searching this bus, and I was so scared that I left my bag in Subway. I walked out and I was like, I'm going to stay here. I have family here, told the bus guy that. And I got my stuff and I stayed in Grand Junction, and I went to a Red Roof Inn that I found nearby. And I literally stayed there for 3 days because I couldn't leave. I was so scared. And eventually I got a train. This isn't even the same trip that the one I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, I'm getting into a whole different story.
That's a whole nother adventure. Wow.
This stuff we actually got back. Yeah. Well, the following time, not so much. So actually the guy that I was seeing went to Vegas first. And then I was still up here in North Dakota, and I was like, well, I'm going to come meet you and we can do a little swap, do whatever, I'm running out of stuff, basically. Yep. And so me and one other person drove, and we met him in Wyoming. He had put the drugs into a separate trunk, and this was the most that I'd ever seen, probably. And, during our drive back, we had pulled over and we were gassing up and getting coffee or doing whatever we were doing. And across the street, there was like a cop just posted up staring at us. And we're like, and then everybody just started acting crazy because they were just being suspicious, and like they were scared and we were all scared, And so, just things just got crazy out of control, and we're like, let's just go get a hotel, and no, let's just leave. And we couldn't make up our minds. Like, what are we going to do? Like, they're watching us.
Panic is set in.
Yeah. Yep. And so we left the car at the gas station, and then, went to the hotel. It was literally right next door. And then sure enough, there was just federal officers just surrounding the vehicle. Right? This was in South Dakota, on our way back up to North Dakota. Yeah. So, and sure enough, just minutes later, there was just feds just crawling all over that car. Yeah. Yeah. And
honestly, that is probably a pretty pivotal moment. In your life.
Oh no, that's when God saved my life. He was working out something.
Like, I have interviewed other residents, and how many times they're like, the best thing that ever happened to me was my house got raided, or like, it's such a pivotal moment that like God uses these situations. Like, I'm going to pull you out of this, and this is how it's going to go. Yeah. And so, tell me a little bit about that. So obviously at that time you were also facing an unexpected pregnancy with Amon.
Right.
And, you're getting busted, for some pretty big things. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. So you're obviously going to be heading to jail of some sort, and this is some pivotal time in your life. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So right before I left for that trip, I took a pregnancy test, and sure enough, it was positive. And I went and got an ultrasound, and there was a baby in there. And so I had actually scheduled to have an abortion, and I wasn't, the guy that I was seeing was not, he was pressuring me. And I also believed like, this is what I have to do. I'm going to lose this baby, you know?
You would say history says this.
Yeah, exactly. Historically, that's what happens to me. And where I'm at right now, I certainly cannot fix this, And that's the only thing I think I thought would be the right idea. You know, like I have to have an abortion because, you know, this baby's going to be born addicted, and I can't get clean, you know? And so where were we going with that?
Yeah. So, so you found yourself kind of facing that decision. And now you're going into prison and you're trying to figure out scheduling an abortion and all of those kind of things.
Yeah. No, I scheduled the appointment.
Yeah.
And then something inside of me just would not allow me to go. I scheduled the appointment. I missed it.
Yep.
I missed the first appointment that I'd made. And it's just something just wouldn't let me go, you know? And
couldn't get there, couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I had a ride and everything, but I was like, no, I just don't think we're going to make it in time. And that was kind of my excuse for not going. And it was a 2.5 hour ride to St. Paul, Minnesota to get the abortion. And so I was like, we're not going to make it. I'll reschedule it.
Yeah.
And so I did. I rescheduled it for the 20th of December, and my arrest was December 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. I'm like, here I am. Honestly, the first things that I was thinking when I was like getting arrested, it wasn't really about my baby. Unfortunately, it was like, now what? How am I going to get out of prison? What am I facing? What am I looking at? Like, and due to the amount of drugs that were found, they were like, your case is going federal and you're going to be tried in a federal court, you know? So I was scared. Like, what am I looking at? And then as my incarceration went on, I just started to bond with my baby, you know? I was like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm having this baby, you know, this baby's here. Not only am I pregnant, I'm sober because I'm in prison, you know? Or in jail. I was in county jail at the time.
And you encountered some jail ministry, some jail chaplains in there, and they've said some very impactful things to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I would go to the jail ministries there, and I met a man. His name was Roger Day. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook now.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. And so he was a really great guy, and his love for Jesus, man, just shined through him, you know? And he would come in and he would play his guitar and sing and stuff, you know, and just another Sunday I kind of went down there, but little did I know, like, this man was going to have some words for me, and not just for me, but for my baby. And so he like kind of stops mid his sermon, you know, and he's like, God is so proud of you for carrying that baby, and you could have done away with that baby, but you're here and you're carrying him. And
is this a room full of a whole bunch of people?
Yeah.
And you're like, is he talking to me?
Yeah. I was like,
oh man.
I was like, you have no idea what you just said to me. And he was like, yes, I do. And then he kind of went on. He never said the word abortion, but he was like, I was a very young when they made that a thing, and just kind of started talking about it. And I was like bawling at this point, because I'm like I just he spoke to me, but that was not from him.
Yeah, he had a word. Yeah, a word from God. That's so
that
good.
was directly towards me. And so I was like, wow, he's proud of me. You know, like, that's what I just heard this man say. Like, God is proud of me for carrying my baby, you know? And so that was a really big moment for me.
Yeah. And so you were starting to build a relationship with Jesus, probably in jail.
I was,
or exploring it, open to it.
Yeah.
So now we're getting really close to the Perry Center at this point. So you're going to be released from jail.
Yeah.
And facing an unexpected pregnancy.
Yeah.
Have no place to go. Mm-hmm. How did you find the Perry Center? Which this is stuff that always blows my mind. Is how do people actually find us? You know, we hear online, through social media, all those things. How did you come across the Perry Center?
I happened upon it.
Yeah.
No, my attorney came to me one day and she was like, okay, you know, the feds do not want to sit in on your delivery. And since you're a federal inmate, they have to like be there and pay for your baby to be born, basically. Yep. And so they're like, we don't want this. And so she was like, do you have anywhere that you can go? And I was like, no.
Right.
But give me a couple days. And I literally called every person I knew of that I could possibly think of, like maybe this will, but nothing just made sense, or felt right. So I actually got a number from another inmate, and it was just the most random thing. And she was like, here's a number to a lady. She's like an advocate for women who are incarcerated and who are pregnant or with children and stuff. And so I messaged her, and honestly, it was a long line of finding you guys.
Yeah.
But I messaged her, and she was like, I don't deal with North Dakota, actually, because she was from South Dakota. Yep. She was like a South Dakota advocate. She was like, but here are some numbers that I have, or here's a number to a lady. Maybe she gave me a number to a lady. And then that lady, I was like, hi, here I am. Here's my problem. What do you got for me? And she was like, it said home for moms. And that's what she messaged me.
Yeah.
And then I called, and it was a Friday when I'd called, and I had left messages, and so I had to wait through the weekend, and I'm like, what's going to happen? So first thing Monday, of course, 8 a.m., bright and early, I called the Perry Center. It probably wasn't 8 a.m. because you guys don't even open till 9.
At some point, we were there. Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, I was like, I called, and I was greeted by the most friendliest voice in the world, I'm telling you what, and it was Rachel Antone. And I was like, she was like, hold on, Kerstyn, I've been waiting for your call.
Yeah.
I'm in a meeting, but I'm going to postpone it to talk to you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this lady, like, I'm important to her.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I felt immediately. It was like, oh, I'm important to her, so important, she's going to postpone this meeting, And I'm like, that's
Did you
wonderful.
know who that meeting was with?
No.
There was a good chance it was the President of the United States. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Oh, man.
There was a good chance it was
I'm
probably
gonna
meeting with me.
believe that, though.
Yeah, it was the president. We put it on hold for you. So.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's what it felt like to me.
Wow.
That's what it felt like to me. So, and then I got approved to come to the Perry Center. And so, do you want me to tell the Olive Garden story? Because I can totally say that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Olive Garden, we are not sponsored by Olive Garden. We probably should at this point.
So maybe I can't.
No, you can say whatever you want to say here.
Okay.
Actually, just to kind of pause for a second.
Yeah.
Kerstyn did a impact video for us not too long ago, probably in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of just going through it, and I honestly forgot that Olive Garden is a part of your story and your testimony.
Yep.
And I would say not a lot of people can say Olive Garden is in their testimony, and it is a part of your testimony. And I was watching this video, and it's just so great to watch it, emotional, and I was like, wow, this is great. And then all of a sudden you start talking about Olive Garden. I was like, all right, hold on. I got to pause and rewind a little bit. How did breadsticks get involved with the Perry Center? So Olive Garden is your jam. Yeah. Right? Do you still love Olive Garden?
Honestly, it was my jam because I was in prison or I was in jail and I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing commercials.
Eating
and I was
mac and cheese every day.
That's the first place I'm going when I get out of here.
Yeah. Classy. Olive Garden, very nice.
It was I just wanted that never-ending salad or whatever. I think I had breadsticks.
I just want lettuce. Yeah. Wow. So you're seeing all these commercials, Olive Garden. You're like, as soon as I get out, this is where I'm going. Yeah. But that didn't happen.
No. Well, when it came down to it, it was very, like, I think I said too, like it's a very scheduled thing. Like I had to go from the jail to the bus station to a hotel, stay overnight, get up, go to another bus station.
And they're watching you closely this whole time.
Yep. Go to Fargo. Well, yeah. So I got back to Fargo and Rachel picked me up and anyway, she was telling me all about how the Perry Center runs, I suppose. and what they do. And she was saying, oh, the ladies cook for each other. And so you'll have a, routine you'll get into, yada, 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 telling me the whole jam. Well, she was like, but you're so lucky because tonight we have Olive Garden catered. And I was like,
So you're like, I can't have Olive Garden. I've been trying to get it. I guess I'm going to be stuck in Fargo with no Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that happens
Yeah.
once you get to Fargo.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and even Rachel was like, that was like the weirdest thing too. Like someone from I went to high school with was like, do you even anyway, it was how they got the catering. And she said it was a funny story there too. I can't remember exactly how it went, but.
No, that's, an impactful piece where you got to enjoy some Olive Garden. Yeah. So you're at the Perry Center now, and we're celebrating that you're choosing life and that we're coming alongside you throughout your pregnancy. You have been a part of the Perry Center for a decent amount of time. What was that routine like? What was some of the takeaways? What were the things that you really enjoyed? And maybe what was kind of that big aha moment, or life can be very different?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Okay. So honestly, it was getting involved with the faith-based background, that you guys kind of come from, like the ministry portion of it, and starting to go to church and praying more and praying over people, asking for prayer, going to the altar, and just giving my life over, and every class was helpful. I think I at least took one thing away from every class that I was taught here.
Yeah.
And it ranges from nutrition to safety,
Yep.
So I probably have so many classes under my belt. I think I have a list of all the ones that
You might have accomplished all of the classes that we can actually offer at the Perry Center, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and now
to the
I
point
teach
where
my
you're
own.
teaching your own classes here.
Now I teach my own. That's crazy, right?
I remember. I'm blessed that I get to see a lot of our residents in worship, and I get to see people come here at their toughest times, and I also get to see a lot of highlights of your life, and from my personal perspective on this, seeing our residents in worship, oh man, it wrecks me every time. So, oftentimes I'm leading worship or playing guitar or something like that. And when I see residents go up for prayer or they're at the altar, even with my own kids, when they come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this anymore. Don't look at anything or anybody. And I'm just
look down.
These are those moments that I'm just so proud to be a part of your guys' life, and proud that you are pursuing Jesus, and to see, I kind of look at your life from a 30,000 foot view, where I'm like, these are the things that I'm praying over you and hoping for and encouraging you towards, and to see you guys take those steps. It's a proud dad moment. And so even for you, I watched you come up. I've watched you go to the prayer team. I've seen people surround you. Even you're one of these people that, I'm just super proud of. It wrecks me every time, in a good way. And one of the deepest things, yes, the Perry Center is a big part of your life. And some of the criminal charges that you had, that's a part of your story. But I remember, and maybe we'll get into that, maybe we won't, but I remember the day that you had to go to prison, or the Sunday before. And there was a dedication for Emon, which was super special. But someone like you, facing difficult things, and then finally getting to a point where you felt free, or it
Yeah.
felt like life was different at the Perry Center,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then realizing like I have to go back to prison and serve some time.
Yeah.
You had so much peace.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind that here is someone that, like, if anybody would run, this is the
Yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
had so much peace going in. And what I loved about that was you believed that going into prison was going to be your mission field for
Yeah.
whatever that season was.
Yep.
And so when the church was praying over you, it was like commissioning commissioning, I don't know the word, commissioning like a missionary
Yeah.
to go into the prisons.
Yeah.
And so praying over you, and it was so powerful. It was so powerful.
Yeah.
I still talk about that
It's
from
amazing.
this moment. So you've been at the Perry Center. Emon is born.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're kind of at this like pinnacle where you're like, okay, life is really good. Life is very different. And
Yeah.
like I said, there were some things that were
Yeah.
were changing. Share a little bit about that.
Okay.
You brace every time.
Like,
You're like, okay, here
I'm
we
like,
go.
okay, let me. Yeah. So I'm going to touch on the peace part.
Yeah.
That just transcends all understanding, because, you know, I started getting close to Jesus, you know, and spending time in the Word and spending time with Jesus, and finding, you know, finding that quiet, safe place with Jesus. And then I started praying over my judge, over my courtroom, over my attorney, over the district attorney, and everybody else in that courtroom. I was like, whoever's in there, just let them see my heart, you know?
Yeah.
And I was facing 10 years mandatory minimum. And yes, I said mandatory.
Yeah.
It was mandatory minimum. And I went into court with a very well-prepared speech that I had written. And
This part of your testimony is so crazy.
yeah, I know.
Sorry, it's just like this is a
mind-blowing.
piece that like God's hand
Oh man.
in your life. If you didn't know it,
Yeah.
you did at that point
100%.
in your life. So you were going into that courtroom. So obviously, I mean, just to kind of put the timeline in, you were picked up before the Perry Center, and federal charges were on you. You came to the Perry Center, gave birth, doing life very differently, but
Still
you still
facing
had
charges,
to
yeah.
face these charges.
Yep.
There's no way of getting out of it.
No.
This was the requirement. You knew going in,
Yeah.
this is what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
So tell me, so you're in that courtroom and something happens with the judge.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. I mean, I know who it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened within him, but you know, at one point he just picked up like his law book and he had it like sitting there on his desk, and he's like, I'm just going to pretend that these laws don't exist. And then he said, I wrote down 26 months, but I thought, why the 2 extra months? And so he ended up sentencing me to 2 years.
Yeah.
And
With the 10-year mandatory.
minimum.
And what was really interesting is that you had several things against you.
Oh yeah.
You were guilty.
Yeah.
You
I was
knew
guilty,
that. It
yep.
wasn't a surprise or anything like that. You were guilty.
Yeah.
You were the last case of the day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't speak for judges, but generally when you're the last case of the day,
They're
it
kind of just
doesn't
like,
go super well because
Yeah.
they've been hearing all day, like, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do things differently.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool.
Sure.
We've talked about this. This is the 10th time I've seen you,
Yeah.
whatever. So you had all of these things going against you.
Yeah.
And so for someone to say, I mean, kudos to the judge.
Yeah.
Because he asked you, what kind of books do you like to read?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
He was like, how did you end up here? You know,
Yeah.
he was so interested in me and like who I was and like What happened to me? Why is this smart young girl, and he called me smart. So that's why I'm saying that. I'm not just blowing up my own head.
You are very smart.
Yeah,
so.
thanks. So he was like, how did you end up here? What are your interests? Like, what do you like to do with your life? What do you want to do? Like,
and don't just tell me how you're, or what you want to do. Tell me how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think he was asking that.
Yeah.
question
He's like,
too.
Yeah, I think because I spoke about graphic design, because boy, nobody even asked me that question.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I answer these questions? I don't really know how to answer these.
And you've seen judges before, I'm sure, and this is one you've never experienced.
Yeah. At one point I looked over at my attorney and I was like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
I gave her that look like, what? And she's like, these are not trick questions.
Yeah.
Like she just wants to know about you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you had this mandatory 10 years and God blessed you with 24 months.
Yeah.
And you were able to work some time down.
Yeah. So I just did a bunch of programming while I was in prison.
And it brought it all the way down to 1 year.
1 year. Yeah.
1 year of time.
Actually, I turned myself in November 23rd and I was released November 18th. So
Less
it
than
was
a year.
a little bit less than a year, like a week less.
Praise the Lord. Like
half a week, whatever.
things like this don't happen.
No, they don't.
And that when I talk about like a divine hand in your life,
No.
like there's no doubt that God was working.
Oh, yeah.
God was working. So we have an interesting story. Like, yes, we have the Perry Center story. But you also had Em on. And
Yeah.
I hope it's okay that I bring this up. We don't talk
Absolutely.
about this.
Yeah.
I've actually have never really publicly talked about this at all.
Okay.
So you're facing
Yeah.
court, prison. It's inevitable.
Yep.
And you came to me and you asked kind of a big question. Do you remember what that was?
Maybe not word
With your son, not word for
so,
word.
okay. Well, yeah. I was just like, I don't know where my kid's going to go. Yeah. I don't have anyone to take care of him. I don't have healthy family members that can take him into their life. They were all messed up on their own stuff, you know? And the one safe family member I tried to reach out to completely ignored me. And she probably thought it was best. Just ignore her. I told her my whole situation. Well, I had brought it to Perry Center staff and you included, Rachel. And I said, I don't know. And I think you guys said, let's staff it. We're going to bring it to and talk about it in a group setting. And, and I just was overwhelmed, honestly, with joy to find out that more than one staff member was like, we'll take him on and take him into our home and fully financially care for him.
Yeah.
And
so this is, I wish my wife was in this room to like share kind of our perspective on this. And maybe this would be a future podcast thing. Maybe all three of us will sit down one time and talk, but you probably gave me the hardest ask ever that I've ever faced. And I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot.
Oh, I remember the question now.
Yeah, go.
Will you love him?
Yeah.
Like he's your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just love him like I love him.
And that was a hard question.
I'm sweating just thinking about it.
I'm sweating right now. So I guess we're going to go into it a little bit.
Yeah.
But the conversation, I mean, will you watch my kid?
Yeah.
I don't want my kid to grow up in the system. I know that there's an end date and I want to come back and I want to parent him. My life is so different. Yeah. And I've been working at the Perry Center a long time, but this has never been a question.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my wife, and again, this will be a future podcast discussion, but I remember casually being in the kitchen and like, you'll never guess what like Kerstyn said today. Like, funny story. And you know, I was just like trying to get it out of my brain and move on.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, she asked like if we'd watch Emon, and you know, she has a 10-year mandatory thing. You know, it's like, isn't that interesting? And I remember my wife, again, God just speaking, and she goes, "We have to do this." And I'm like, "No, we do not have to do this." I was like, we cannot take a little boy in our house who's a baby, and like, we're out of that stage. We don't want to go back down that road.
Right.
And I looked to her for a no, and she did not give me a no.
Wow.
And I remember then going to Peyton, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you.
No,
I went
don't
to
think
Peyton, and I go, and Peyton's my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, funny story. Let me share this with you. and she's been around the Perry Center. She knows. And I was like, this is something that would kind of affect you. You know, how would you feel about us taking on a little boy in our house? And you know, we'd probably need some help with that. And I probably was building it up to being this like negative
horrible
picture.
thing.
And my daughter said the most thought-provoking thing that I have ever heard, and a great reminder. And she goes, "Dad, if God is calling us to do this, we need to do this.
Yeah.
If we don't, we're being disobedient to the call." And I sat there as a dad, and that wrecked me. Like, here's my teenager correcting me.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, tell me no. Somebody tell me no. And I sat in that, like, here's a teenager that's wiser than me.
Yeah.
That's saying God has called us to do this as a family, and we have to do this. And I remember going to my board of directors after that. So I got a no, or I got a yes from Amber. I got a yes from Peyton, and all the other kids were like, cool. And I'm like, somebody tell me no. And I went to the board of directors, and we sat around this table, and they're like, sounds great. And I'm like, for you guys, like, I'm the one that has to like take care of them financially. And
whole baby.
And honestly, from that moment when I had the support of everybody, and it was us and we're going to do this as a village, as a family.
Yeah.
Man, that was an experience. And we went in with the commitment, like, it's going to be 10 years.
Yeah.
And when we got a call that it's going to be 2 years and you can work your time down, I was like,
and plus I already had some time served too.
Already
so
had some time served.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a big piece of our family. And so we had Emon in our house for a year.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was the hardest year. You can ask any staff team member, like, we prayed over this nonstop, tears. How do we do this? Because it wasn't just we are taking on Emon.
Yeah.
It was, as a family, we're taking on you.
Yeah.
And that was something that we never really talked about. And like, I'm so grateful for the wife that I have. And she was
on the record.
phone.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. But she was on the phone with you every day. And
Yeah.
there were times that she was like, I don't know that I signed up for, like, I wasn't prepared for taking on a mom too.
Yeah.
And we would do video calls and talk about your situation and what you're going through. And I would always
schedule stuff.
I would schedule stuff.
Scheduling
and
the visits and
we had
birthday
no
stuff.
idea. Yeah.
Because we celebrated his first birthday, and I was over. Remember, I was on the video and watching him and singing happy birthday.
And so, you know, I share a little bit of this. And again, this is your story. This is not my story. But we're in involved in your life very differently. And
Yeah.
and here's my plug for the Perry Center. I'm so proud of the team that I have, because we sat in that conference table when you said we're going to bring this to the team.
Yeah.
We did. And I remember sitting around the conference table and saying, oh, this is the situation. And there wasn't one person around that table that said no.
Yeah.
At that time, I had a teenager working for me, and she was even open to it, of like, yeah, I have this condo and, I figure it out. I'm like, you're a teenager and you can't put your life on hold for, shout out to Eden on that. Like, everybody said, yes, how can we support her?
Yeah.
And I like to think that we operate different, and we're way different than all of these other places and organizations. And for us to say, okay, ministry is uncomfortable. What is the calling? Mm-hmm. And to step into it, it was huge. And so let's fast forward. This is a whole nother episode someday that we'll go into.
Okay, we have to.
But one of the most beautiful things was the day you got out. And I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could be talking for hours on this.
Yeah.
But knowing like there were people visiting you in prison.
Yep.
That were tied with the Perry Center, mentors that are reaching out to you, care packages or whatever, like people are pouring into you. And I think what was so cool is you weren't abandoned.
Not at all.
And this team this family that we built around you was supporting you all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the day, I can't remember what it was, but it was all of the people in your life. Maybe the day that you got back or within.
It was like the day after I got.
Yeah. Whatever. We threw a welcome back party.
Yep.
And we had your kind of support team all there. And I was looking around, I was like,
wow,
this is all the people that are pouring into you. And it was a massive amount of people.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is they weren't crossing over to the Perry Center, like other residents. This was your crew.
Yeah.
And so it was, I can't even remember, like 20 some people just here for you.
Yeah.
So there's this video, and someday maybe we'll share it, but my wife took it of walking into the Perry Center building with your son.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oof, don't get me. I could get emotional over this one.
It's okay.
Yeah. So the reunification, it was actually the day after, because I got back so late. Yeah.
Which you're anticipating, like, I want to go see my son. And we're like, just give it a night.
I mean, he's clearly sleeping right now. I'm not going to wake him up.
Sleeping. I picked you up from the bus station.
Yeah. Oh, and you hugged me. I'm going to point that out.
I'm not a hugger.
Yeah.
I don't hug, but
I'm going to point that out because he hugged me.
Don't tell anybody. Well, now the millions that listen to this podcast know that I will occasionally hug.
It was a special moment. So
now we're going to have all these strangers coming up and be like, hug me.
Hug. No. That's what my son says. Hug, mama, hug.
Yeah. So, so you got to connect with your son.
Yeah.
Tell me. And you left the Perry Center and you came right back to the Perry Center and you continued on like you never left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it felt that way too.
Yeah.
But, the day after, and they brought him in to see me, and then he just walked right up to me and then turned around, and you know how like, he's like, it almost felt, my thought was, okay, he knows that he's safe right here,? And so even just watching that video, cause I've seen it too, but even just watching that video, like he walked right up to me and then like turned around and like backed up to me and just like let me hold him. And I was like, oh man, this is like the best moment. I was like, I got asked recently if I could relive a moment, what would it be? And I said that moment. So yeah. Yep. I would relive that moment because that was just like, And
he knew you and you bonded with him. And it was like, we were trying to figure out, like, how does this transition work back? I think that was one of the things I was most worried about, is how do we transition Emon back to mom?
Yeah.
Where we kind of move into no longer mom and dad mode, but like, and that was tough because he was calling me mode. He's calling me dad, and he was calling Amber mom, and we tried to correct, and he was just like, all the other kids are calling you. This is really confusing.
Yeah.
And so we were really concerned of how is this transition going to work?
Yeah.
And you talked to him every single day.
Yeah.
And so
as much as I could,
he literally like
showed
up like, oh, mom.
Yeah.
Hey, mom. And just like continued
There was
on.
like, I could, one time I remember it seemed like a little bit of confusion. And that was when he napped and woke up for the first time. And so he was like, where am I?
Yeah.
And so, but we were at the Perry Center too. So, he maybe recognized it a little bit. I don't know how often he was there when I was gone.
Yeah. Every day almost. So.
Yeah. So, but.
Never sleeping though. So that was probably the weird thing. Like, I normally don't sleep here.
That was the only point I really realized, I noticed a little bit of confusion in him. But other than that, his transition went amazing. I honestly couldn't have asked for anything better. Yeah.
And now you are crushing it as a mom and a wife and all of those things. And tell me about life now. I mean, yes, you have Emon and all of that, but like, you're a daughter of the King, and your life is so different and transformed by the gospel. Yeah. And what a joy it is for me to be a part of that journey. And so, I mean, just share a little bit about who you are now and what's going on.
Okay. I'm just bracing myself for that one too. Honestly, where do I start? Things are just so good. And like I mentioned, like at the beginning of this podcast, like it's relaxing, and I get to be home with Emon every day. And as much as I really did not want to pull him out of daycare, I was like, but why not? You know, like I get to spend every day with him. The hardest part is like, I'm his teacher too, and I'm his friend. And because he doesn't have other siblings, you know, and so I'm everything to him right now.
Rowan in a way.
Yeah, he has Rowan.
He has our kids
and the
too.
church, you know, like, and so of course, he has your family too. And I recently just talked to your wife about that. I'm like, I'm gonna start calling you more because it just feels so weird, and I don't want to bug you. And
You're
she's
welcome
like,
anytime.
just call.
Yeah, anytime.
But yes, it was hard because, you know, I'm teaching him. I'm his teacher, you know, and trying to schedule time for everything. Maneuvering routines has not been easy, and it's not ever been something I was good at. So, kind of trying to figure that out has been interesting. But yeah, and being married, it wasn't easy. It was not easy at first. You know, I had a lot of expectations, I think, when I went into. And
still not easy.
And still not easy. No, never. But praise God for, you know, counseling and Valley Christian Counseling. Actually, I got plugged into through you guys. Yeah. And, you know, we've managed to kind of set aside expectations and just come at things differently, because really I'm more logical, and my husband's more emotional. And so, trying to meet in the middle is so difficult. Yeah. But, yeah, and it's like a pendulum, because I'll swing all the way one way and he'll swing all the way the other, you know. But
that sounds like marriage.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and it was not, you know, all sparkly and glittery and fun, you know. Like you think newlyweds would have it. You know, we both came in with a lot of trauma too. Yep. And unhealed trauma and unresolved trauma. So, but like I said, praise God for our counselors and for the people who are like ushering us through this marriage and praying life over us and into our marriage. And we started waking up early, and it's been 3 weeks now that we've been getting up early. We read the word before Emon gets up. We pray together, and honestly, it's been like insane, insane shift.
Yeah.
Because I would shut off. I'm a withdrawer, and so I would just withdraw completely. And he's a pursuer, so he'd pursue, which would make me withdraw more. And anyways, it's a cycle. You know what I mean? But yeah. So, but it's been rewarding. Just growing and growing closer to God.
Yeah.
When it comes to Emon, just modeling things for him, modeling loving Jesus, modeling prayer, and just watching him do it himself. And like, he literally will be like, Mom, pray,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, it just like gets me every time. I'm like, man, that's good stuff,
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing. He'll just pray and just say nothing at all, and
Just
but
babble.
everything at all. You know what I mean? He's like, hubba dabba dabba hot dog, hubba dabba dabba Mickey Mouse, and hubba dabba, and I'm like, oh my goodness, kid. And it's just like, but he's praying, and then, and getting him his his own little Bible so he can read, or not read, but look at the pictures and like talking about it, and just modeling those things for him. And and it's not easy every day with him too.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, he's his own personality, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So as we get kind of close to wrapping up, and again, this podcast is kind of like a 30,000 foot view on your life. We could like dive hours into things. And so I even share this with other guests. Like we can do repeats anytime, sitting down and talking very specific.
Yeah.
So praise the Lord that somebody connected you with our ministry, and that we were able to serve you and love you well. And, for the next resident that comes in, what's kind of that nugget advice that you would give that person if they're considering, like, should I come here? Should I not? Maybe they'll listen to this podcast. Maybe they won't. I have no idea. But what is something that you would share with them?
Oh man, I always want to make this so important because it is. First off, it's life-changing. And just the amount of support you gain from being here, it's unbelievable. I still have these people in my life, and so it's scary being pregnant and whatever the situation is. I know a lot of them have been in addiction or coming from jail, and those things are scary stepping into a new place. But if you come, you take it seriously. And that's really some of the take it very seriously. The rules are important, and they're there in place for a reason. And it's just a gift. It's a gift to be involved and with a place like this. And for your child, oh my goodness, to grow in a place and with support. And like everyone says, it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier. So, and the Prairie Center is a village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And I want to throw one more question out.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came to me, but if, let's say, Emon is 2 now.
Yeah.
Let's give it 10 years. Okay. 10 years, 12, 13 years old.
Oh my goodness.
He's going to go back and watch this. Maybe not. Maybe podcast won't be a thing. Who knows where we'll be?
Oh man.
If you could tell him one thing, what would it be?
My goodness, that's the hardest question I've ever been asked. Hold steadfast to Jesus. That's it. That's the most important thing in your life. Nothing's more important.
Yeah.
Nothing at all is more important than your relationship with Jesus. Yeah.
That's good. I'm I can speak for our entire team, our ministry. We are so grateful for you, and just love being a part of your life. And I have maybe deeper insight into your life because of your son, and for our family. And someday we'll do a podcast on this, but it was a joy to serve you that way.
Thank you.
We don't talk about it much. Like, we see each other in church,
Yeah.
and we all know kind of what happened and how we served you. And we are not looking for accolades or that boys or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it was a joy to serve you, and it brings us great joy every time we see you and your family. And it's still like awkward where you're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we talk?
Yeah.
But just, I love seeing you just continue everything that we've been teaching and hoping for and praying for, and like, you're carrying it out and you're living it, and you're impacting other generations. And so just so proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
I can't say that enough. And so we'll do another episode in the near future, and maybe we'll kind of sit down and talk deeper things on life.
I'm so down.
Yeah.
This went smoother than I could have imagined.
Hey, awesome.
And also, I'm going to add, it's also a joy to give back and serve the Perry Center. I literally couldn't even imagine my life without you guys.
And honestly,
at this point.
I mean, it's some of the greatest impact is when other residents come back and come alongside other residents.
Yeah.
They get to see the other side, like, oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's people doing, I've seen former residents financially support the Perry Center.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind when they give back those ways. We've been talking with a resident back from, I think, 1995, and just how she supports the Perry Center and speaks about us. And so, I mean,
I didn't even know you guys were that old.
1986.
Okay, wait, but that's not that old, I guess. It kind of is.
Thank you.
It's older than me.
Yes. So it's a joy, but we'll do it again. So friends, thank you so much for checking out this episode. Of course, be sure to do all the things that podcast people are telling you to do. If it's download, share, even if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things that YouTubers tell you to do. Good YouTubers tell you to do.
Yeah. The ones that know their stuff.
Yes. And so just be sure to share that. And you can find all things Perry Center at perrycenter.org. Have a great night.